yeah, enjoy life and enjoy the things we've had, and recognize those important connections that you've got, because other people aren't so lucky. And that's the age-old thing, isn't it? If it's not good enough for your eyes, then it's not good enough for your stomach. Do you know Brian May, guitarist of the band
Yeah, he
Queen?
just got an OBE, didn't he?
Yeah. So he's world famous for Queen, and he said in an interview, "I know people will always remember me for Queen, but I'd far rather people remember me for the work that I've done to try and make people think differently about animals." Pick sort of like a hero or a favourite person is because actually sometimes it's the least well-known people that are actually, you know, doing the biggest pieces of work.
I'm Farah Shammas. Welcome to Hotel Talk. We hope you enjoy listening to this friendly conversation between people connected by real life in hotels. Welcome back, everyone, to Hotel Talk. And today I have another special guest of St. Raphael Resort and Marina. Matthew is currently staying in the hotel with his beautiful family and 3 kids who are exactly the same age as my 3 kids. So we were really fortunate that they all got on the other day at dinner, and our vegan dinner, because Matthew is a fellow vegan, just like me. Matthew has a great TikTok account and also an Instagram account, but he is known as the UK's #1 vegan TikToker. So you must follow him. His account is called...
It's Sanctuary Vegan. So it's the same on all platforms, Sanctuary Vegan. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here, Matthew. I really appreciate it. So let's start by telling everyone a little bit about Sanctuary Vegan, how it started, what you talk about, if your followers are mainly vegans or non-vegans. Tell us a little bit about your account.
Yeah, so I started it up as just a little project, just something to do. I started posting some food, what I've been eating, and some basic recipes and things like that. And it sort of went from there, you know, on the back of the comments and things that I'd get. I'd use those to make new content and just keep building up my following all along. I think my overall aim now is sort of to normalize veganism, as it were. So it's not just focused on the food. It's not just focused on any one particular thing. It's a sort of anything vegan. I'll try it, I'll do it, and I'll talk about it. So I've got a lot of content on sort of new vegan products that are available, and videos about various people and answering questions. Essentially anything vegan.
Anything vegan. So even clothes, cosmetics.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Yeah. Amazing. And how long have you been vegan?
So I've been vegan for about 6.5 years, and I've been sort of posting on TikTok for about 3 years. So.
Okay. Wow. That's so nice. So let's go back to the beginning. As I always laugh, you're British, you might remember Cilla Black. So we already know your name, but tell us a little bit about you and where do you come from and what you do, because your TikTok account is not your main job.
No.
So yeah.
No, far from it. My background's actually in childcare work-wise. And funny enough, I used to work in holiday resorts, in the kids' clubs and things like that. And I've also worked on cruise ships. I was the manager of the children's facilities for Cunard Cruise Line and loads of things like that. Right now, I'm working with young people that have been in the care system. So they're care leavers. And I work sort of on independent skills and preparation for the real world for them. So it's quite different, you know, and varied, to be fair. But yeah, and I live in a place called Kings Lynn in Norfolk, which is the east coast of England.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness, you've just given me so much juicy content for like a million questions. So it's crazy. We had another TikToker on who I think you met in the hotel. He was on Hotel Talk yesterday, and he's also in childcare, kindergarten age. So amazing. Yeah, that's Kettle. If you guys haven't listened to that one by the time this one comes out, definitely log on and listen to that. Amazing. So 1 minute. So you work with children who presumably are like 16 years old, 18 years old.
That's right. So
who are leaving,
sort of 16 plus, quite often over 18. they've lived in children's homes or foster care, and they're sort of bridging that gap between childhood and adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Like typically, I don't know if your listeners can resonate, but you get to 18, you think you know everything, you move out of your family home or whatever, and quite often you'll move back in, or you'll rely on a lot of support from mum, dad, family members, whatever. And these young people that I work with haven't got those networks, or they're not stable networks. So so my job is generally to sort of be that person to check in on them and see what they need.
Yeah, almost like a mentor and
that's right. Yeah,
someone that they can rely on, a steady, consistent person to help. And how is it? I mean, how are the kids? Because I can't imagine, what lives they've been in, because presumably they've come from homes that for whatever reason they had to be removed from, and then spent maybe many years, not just in one home, but in several foster care homes or in establishments that look after kids.
Yeah, that's right. I've worked with young people that have had as many as sort of 16 different placements within the space of a couple of years, which is crazy, really, isn't it? When you think about that sort of upheaval each time. The young people I work with are fantastic, and these young people are survivors. So it's almost like very, very different from typical, but also so varied it's impossible to sort of pinpoint where people are at. But that's sort of my job, is to work on a very individual basis on that young person's needs.
That's amazing. I told you the other day about it's probably over 20 years old now, but a book called The Kid. I think it was made into a movie as well, but the book was incredible. And as you said, they're survivors, and that's the nice thing about reading maybe very hard to read stories, but when they're autobiographies, that the person's come out of it.
They've made it.
They've made it.
Yeah.
So their inspiration that can be taken from there. And it just goes to show when we come and we moan because, I don't know, like something silly happened, our meeting was late, or we couldn't, get somewhere on time, or they didn't have our favorite food in the supermarket, and then,
a bit of context and perspective, and your mind shifts, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So what's the biggest lesson that it's taught you?
Goodness. Probably just don't really take anything for granted, and enjoy life and enjoy the things we've had, and recognize those important connections that you've got, because other people aren't so lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're also the dad of 3 amazing kids.
3 girls. Yeah, Maisie, Teddy and Billy.
I love their names as well. They're brilliant. And they're also different. They're so different, your girls. And characters, and it's just, incredible. So what has being a dad taught you? Because I think you're quite a hands-on dad. Your lovely wife, Hannah, also works. So, it's a big thing to have 3 kids, and you guys have your lovely family. But what's that taught you the most, and how do you achieve a work-life balance?
Yeah, it's always tricky, isn't it, to get the balance right with that. And I can remember we've tried so many different sort of things, like Hannah working part-time, me working part-time, and sort of juggling in what things work with childcare and everything else. But ultimately, I think it's just making sure you've got that quality time. Perhaps quality over quantity is sometimes the way forward, no matter what the situation is. I'm very lucky. Like I said, I enjoy my day-to-day job, and I enjoy my time off and all the other things that I do, all the hobbies and interests and the TikTok stuff, So it is busy. We're a busy family, but I think that's the way we like it, really.
Yeah, I know. That's what I always say when people are like, how do you do it? Or I'm like, no, I just love being busy. I love it,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you're the same. That's so nice. So let's talk a little bit about veganism. What inspired you to become vegan?
Yeah, well, prior to being vegan, I was vegetarian for a lot of years. Neither of my parents are, but at about 6 years old, I decided that I didn't want to eat animals anymore, essentially.
So as young as 6?
Yeah, and it was that sort of reason that you make that connection between an animal and the food that's on your plate. Obviously, I wasn't vegan at that point, but I'd made enough of a connection to realize that I didn't want it, and that I wanted to try and manage without. And it's really interesting looking back, because I think some of some of the teachers of mine at the time just assumed that it was like either a phase or that it was something that's, you know, been put onto me by somebody else. And that wasn't the truth. It was my own mind and my own stubbornness that I wanted to
Veiled,
do that.
yeah.
So, you know, and at that time, vegetarianism was sort of not frowned upon, but it wasn't so common. And you know, now we're so lucky and it's so easy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want to show people in my content as well now. So it's sort of progressed as time has gone on. And, you know, over time I've looked into these industries and the factory farming and, you know, the egg industry, the dairy industry and all of these things. And, you know, when you really look at it and you think, do I want to be part of this?
Do I want to pay for that? Yeah. That's definitely my theory as a fellow vegan. I think we're actually all born vegan. Like innately, we are vegan, but it's society that trains our minds and changes our mindset and makes us believe that we need animal protein. We should be eating meat. It's okay to live like this or wear these clothes or do whatever we deem as okay to do to animals. And we don't really watch it. Like, you know, they say like, you don't take you take your kids to an orchard to pick an apple, but you wouldn't take them to a slaughterhouse. And that's for a reason. And we just kind of like, no, it's all right. And we'll love our dogs and our cats, but you know, pigs and cows are for eating.
And that's the age old thing, isn't it? If it's not good enough for your eyes, then it's not good enough for your stomach. I can't remember who originally said that, but if you don't want to see it, then
maybe something's wrong. Yeah. And I think the science is there, in that even if we take the ethical side out of it, that, you know, the Western world is literally, I mean, people are dying, you know, by the millions of Western modern diseases that are all caused by lifestyle and their eating habits, which are fueled by animal products that we don't need and antibiotics. And it's not about eating the organic or even when they've done studies on that, you know, green is best, you know, beans are the best, legumes and nuts and everything else. So the healthier I think people can be, which is why I think it's great when vegans follow people like you and me, but it's the non-vegans that are so important to see, like, oh, well, for example, I saw your Pop-Tart TikTok. And, you know, that's a processed food. It's not healthy, but at least if you're going to eat it, like, let's not have an animal tortured to eat it. You know, go get the vegan version.
That's right. Yeah, that's my thinking 100%. So it's all about balance. It's not about, you know, choosing one food group. You know, you can have a huge variety of foods, you know, some healthy, some not so healthy. And everyone likes a treat. Yeah,
everyone. Exactly. So what's been your biggest video? Like, we were discussing with Kettle as well, like a video that he didn't even really like. And he was like, oh, and eventually posted. And that was his biggest one. And then some others that you might think, I mean, I've had the same on my account sometimes. And then suddenly,
TikTok is notorious for that. It's always what you least expect, or something that you almost didn't post, or something that you were sort of 50-50 on. You can spend ages making something. You know, you could do a really complex recipe thing and edit it all down and put music to it and spend all this time editing. But actually the most viewed video of mine is just me going around the supermarket, picking out and showing the vegan products, you know, and it's just crazy. People like that and they resonate with it. And it's one of those things as well. People don't, you know, you see these products and everyone assumes that all the vegan products are expensive, and I'm showing them that they're not. You know, you might not realize that they're vegan, but you know, these products are available in your local shop. So
and it depends how you do it as well. Yes, you can go and buy gourmet vegan cheeses and I don't know what, but you can equally go and get soya beans, you know, lentils, your oats. I mean, these are all super cheap and you can buy them in bulk and then you're done and you just add a few, I don't know, and even the vegetables that are the healthiest to put with them, like onions and carrots, and they're the most accessible, and garlic, and you know, and you can have all of these things in as your staple. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's just crazy. So how these videos can blow up, you know, on TikTok, and it's sort of the unpredictable nature of it that makes me love it.
Yes.
It's always like people are always chasing something, and you're hoping to exceed your views, which is probably why I've stuck at it for so long. And
You're your own competitor. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. There's been some other crazy videos that have just like blown up as well randomly. I made this burger that was almost like a joke burger, and Gordon Ramsay duetted the video. He stitched the video. He didn't like my burger, but that was kind of his thing at the time. It was called Ramsay Reacts, and he chose my video to do. So that blew up
I didn't
as
see
well.
that one. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so there's been
because I think a lot of vegans were super angry with him. Was it last year Easter? I can't remember when he went to a farm and he was looking at the lambs. And
I've seen that video. He's pointing at
and he goes, I'm going to take you for lunch. And they were like, oh, that is just...
But he has actually recently taken a step back, because I saw that actually now in his, I think it's his London restaurant now, he's
got vegan food.
He's got vegan food on the menu,
he had to, because, and in Canada, by law, you've got to have vegan food in every restaurant. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I think that is slowly the way it's going, that it will, maybe they'll implement it by law, or if not, just on a commercial basis, people will realize, well, if I don't have vegan options, I'm going to lose.
It's going to be the whole group that doesn't go. All it would take is one person that's vegan. They won't eat in that restaurant if there isn't something for them to eat.
Oh,
so
my goodness. I'm so happy you said that. That's what I always say here. And when we do our sales analysis in our restaurant, so as you know, you're staying in St. Raphael Resort, and 30% of all our menus are plant-based. And I say plant-based because they don't have to be highlighted as vegan. A pasta with tomato sauce is, still plant-based or vegan. But yeah, let's say we've got a vegan burger in one, and it's like, well, that one's not selling so well. And I'm like, well, compared to, let's say, the salmon or the steak, but you can't say that alone, because those 100 that we sold might have sold so many of the other non-vegan stuff, because they're the one person in that group that came to our restaurant because, and then we sold another 9 things. So if you're listening to this, guys, and you've got a restaurant, make sure you've got decent vegan options and not just one, because especially if you're in a resort, it's the worst when you go and there's one pasta you can eat for a week. Yeah,
we don't really go for just one token effort. Not if you're probably, everybody needs to eat every day.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, the places I've been. I went to one place in Greece last year. Thankfully, there was a burger and a pasta. Both were delicious. But literally in 1 week, that was my lunch and my dinner.
Yeah.
And then I'd alternate. I'd go, I had the burger for dinner last night. Okay, and have it for lunch. And then another place I went to, they only had a lentil pie. Thankfully, I was only there for the weekend. But by the third meal, I was like, you must be able to make me something else. And their answer was no. Like, that's what we've got. You're vegan. That's what you're going to eat. And I'm like, well, not coming back here again.
That's it. And they won't get that repeat business, and they will probably look at that and think that their one vegan option isn't selling very well, so they probably won't bother. But actually, that's as you said, that's not the way around it, because everybody can enjoy good vegan food.
Exactly.
And I watched people at the buffet in the Octagon this morning, and I see the people, they're loading up their plates. They're not vegan, but they're loving this food. They're not.
The quinoa, but you had the peanut butter porridge the other day. Exactly, the scrambled tofu does really well. Even people are intrigued to try the vegan sausages.
Yeah,
and I'm not a meat. I haven't had meat in over 15 years, but and so for me, the sausages just look and taste too much like meat. But for others who eat meat, they're like, well, this is like a normal Frankfurter,
That's it, yeah. And then I always get out, I have the same sort of negative comments, these trolls on the account, why do you copy our food? Like it's like we're in competition with something else. Well, it's, why would we not copy the food if we can take everything that we want without all of everything that's gone before it?
Exactly.
And we're on to a winner.
Exactly. It's better for the environment, better for animals, and better for our health. Even processed vegan food, which is not great for our health, is still much better than processed animal food.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that is down to the cholesterol. Cholesterol only really exists in animal products. So, if you take that out, you've got a zero cholesterol meal. It's going to be a winner for your health.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what a lot of people, non-vegans don't understand is they think, oh, well, you're vegan and you're just, flicking around some kale on your plate. But actually, many vegans, I'm not a good example of this, but, they didn't stop eating animals because they didn't enjoy the taste. They still want to eat, their burgers or their fish or their whatever. So if they can find something that replicates that, even for the odd meal and a treat, as you said, a week, then, then why not? And then no animal suffers, and the environment's better off as well. So, we could talk about veganism for hours, but let's go back on to Cyprus and hotel talk. And you've obviously had a few days now at St. Raphael Resort and Marina. Have you explored anything else in Cyprus? Have you been around? What's been the highlight of your holiday? In the hotel, out of the hotel? Tell us about your impression of Cyprus.
So hands up, we've not really left the resort yet. We've just been exploring the beautiful resort and the pools and
it is quite a big resort, and you guys are a big family and you're tired. So I get you, and I get holidays where people are like that. I'm all up for people exploring the islands. But I so understand some people who come and just say, you know what, like this is our chill time. Like, So, and we want to explore each other. Like,
it's about that balance, that sort of family. It's like we talk about the work-life balance. You've got to get that in your holiday as well. And sometimes it's easier to
stay put.
I mean, like we said, we've got great food, we've got great facilities. It's really lovely. But we will have some time to explore, but we just haven't got to it just yet.
Well, you've just arrived, So, that's so nice. And what's been your favorite thing so far? If I can ask about St. Raphael.
I think, well, it's a bit of an umbrella term, but it's got to be the food, actually. And I say that, and I'm not even. I don't even think of myself as that big a foodie, but, just to have so much choice and options here, as a vegan in a holiday resort is unheard of. And if you look at some of the comments, on my videos when I first said that, I'm going away to Cyprus, and all of the comments are like, let me know if you managed to actually find some food. And I'm like, I know I'm going to. So it would be very different in another resort because we would probably have to go out and find something.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be in like the organic or vegan shops, like searching through and getting your, oh my goodness, the amount I'm traveling tomorrow actually. And I've already bought 2 huge bags of food just for like with our kids as well, but just for the airplane journey. And then when I get there, just to get us through, because I know we'll be hungry. There's nothing else. My poor husband, who isn't vegan, but he does eat predominantly plant-based food, but he always panics for me. So he's like researching. He's already called ahead, like, where are there shops we can buy food from? And because it is difficult sometimes.
Yeah. And it's just so nice not to have that stress and worry.
Yeah.
I think quite often we go down the self-catering route, actually, because at least then we know.
Yeah.
And it's that
we
sort
do that
of
sometimes
unknown.
too, book flats or houses. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Well, thank you, because it makes it all worth it. And as we've just said, everyone's enjoying that food. It's not just for vegans. And of course, we're not a fully vegan hotel, but we're the only hotel part of Vegan Welcome, which is great. So, which is for 5-star resorts that cater for vegans or people with dietary requirements. Maybe they're dairy free, maybe they're halal, maybe they're kosher. Maybe there's so many things, and everyone can eat the vegan food.
That's right, and that's how you win in this, isn't it? And it must be nice for yourself and for your staff team to see everybody enjoying this variety of food as well.
Yeah, and I love it when we know that a sign of a good holiday is to come and really enjoy the food, but the downside of that is everybody goes home and they're like, oh, I packed on a few kilos and da. But I think here there is the option where actually they can, go to the gym, do their yoga, play their tennis, and then still eat really well, but it's healthy, so they feel really full, should they want that option. And it's, in abundance, but they have delicious, fresh, a lot of the time local food. And it just all makes it worthwhile. And also for our staff, it's not just for the guests. For our staff, we try and give them a lot of plant-based options, healthier options. I don't want my team to fall sick. So, while, they still have animal products, but we give them always not just a bit of fresh salad, but so much more to enjoy. So really to try and change that mindset.
That's it. Yeah. And I think if you strip everything back, the actual, I'm not sure if there's equivalent around the world, but sort of like the NHS Eat Well guide, if you actually look to, the amount of animal-based protein that is recommended, I mean, it's none, because they recognize now that you can get all of the protein you need from plants, but that section is so small. So people have no idea, they load up their plate with all of this, all of these animal products, but actually that's not the recommended.
Yeah, it's not the recommended anymore. I think people are still stuck in, the 70s and 80s and 90s when it was different. So interesting. Right, let's go on to tell us a favorite quote or favorite book.
Do you know what? I've been looking at a few quotes actually, and I've covered a few quotes and some things that some famous people have said and things relating to veganism. And something that really struck out for me. Do you know Brian May, guitarist of the band Queen?
Yeah, he just got an OBE, didn't he?
Yeah. So he's world famous for Queen, and he said in an interview, "I know people will always remember me for Queen, but I'd far rather people remember me for the work that I've done to try and make people think differently about animals."
Yeah.
So, and that really...
You say that, my hairs have gone up, and I love that quote.
And it's so meaningful, obviously the more famous somebody is, the more likely they are to be remembered for what they're famous for. But for somebody to sort of say, no, actually, I'd rather people take note of this thing that I'm saying, and I imagine he steered the interview that way at the time. I don't know the full interview actually, but I know he does a lot of work against the badger cull. That's something that's sort of common practice, culling badgers in England, and he's a campaigner against that. But I think he's fully vegan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And he, it's quite inspirational, as you said, just, doing so much and being so famous for this iconic group that really changed the world and changed music as we know it. And yet for him, fighting for animals is so much more important at this point in his life.
Yeah. So it's that context again, isn't it? That in all of the things that he's said and done over the years, he'd rather be remembered for that.
And do you have a favorite book?
Do you know, I don't actually have a favorite book, and it's sort of like one of those things. I can never pick favorites of anything. People ask me my favorite food, my favorite TV show, my favorite film. And actually, I sort of skirt it. I
like them all.
I'm too indecisive to say I've got a favorite thing. There's a book that I'd recommend anyone check out on veganism. I don't know if you're familiar with somebody called Earthling Ed. His name is Ed Winters.
Yeah, Ed Winters.
And he has a book. It's been out a few months
the vegan
now,
propaganda.
Yeah. That's a really good read. And he's such a good speaker,
I mean, he's so well versed at like any argument people throw at veganism.
Yeah.
He can just... I think people are like tagging him in to everything now. Whenever they're like cornered or they're not sure how to answer a vegan question, they're like, "Oh, they're good." Yeah.
And he's so gentle in his approach as well, which is nice as well, because people can't, if he doesn't respond in a sort of aggressive sort of way that some people might be tempted to do with the frustration of being faced with such things. So calm. He's
really good. And I think he did a nice, I don't think face-to-face, but answer when, what's the name of them? Piers Morgan, did a whole thing about, the vegans and, I'm not saying about was it almonds or avocados or some, which wasn't really a researched argument. And, it was a bit like, it was tiring to listen to. And he came out and, that was good. So, right, random question. Dun, dun, dun. So this is from our team. Shall I read it to you? Oh, thank you. So, that's quite nice. Who is your hero?
Wow. That's a big question, though, isn't it?
That's a juicy question. I like it.
A hero.
As the Americans would say, this is loaded.
There's so many.
And now you've got to choose again. It's good. It's like, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah. It's always so hard.
Well, you can pick several. We'll let you have several.
Okay, so I think of, like, in the context of veganism, at least, there's a few, some people that really sort of paved the way for us to be able to enjoy all of the things that we have today. I don't know.
So let the names just pop out. There's so many.
I tell you, I can tell you one that you may not have heard of. There's somebody called John Feldman, and he's front man of a band called Goldfinger, and he still is a really true animal rights fighter. It's not a sort of token effort. He really
massive
did it.
activist.
And he had his house raided and things like that. And he's still sort of carried on. There's so many. And these activists that talk about Earthling Ed as well, I think, he's opened the door to veganism to so many people now. Joey Carbstrong, another really good voice for the animals. I don't know. There's so many, and so many before them as well.
Yeah. And then, a name that springs to mind as well, Veganuary. That was started by, also Matthew Glover, I remember.
Yeah,
and then he gave it over to someone else, but he started that movement.
And that's huge. So, anybody that can start something like that is definitely worthy of it.
And even if they influence one person,
everybody has the power to influence somebody, doesn't it? And I think that's why I find it so tricky, actually, to sort of pick sort of like a hero or a favorite person is because actually sometimes it's the least well-known people that are actually, doing the biggest pieces of work.
Yeah.
And the sort of hero worship might be a bit fake. Sometimes, not always.
But, really good point. Matthew, thank you so much. I don't want to take up more of your holiday because I know your lovely ladies, all four of them, are waiting to have you back and enjoy the day. But thank you so much for being here, for being at St. Raphael, for carving out some time to be on Hotel Talk. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring so many. I love your posts. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope we do it again soon. We'll keep in touch. And it's been lovely. A pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Hotel Talk. And I hope that you're enjoying every single moment of this exciting show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it helps us more than you may realize. And if you can like and comment on whatever platform that you've chosen to listen to this podcast, that would be great. If you'd like to stay in touch, do follow me on social media and click on www.straphael.com. The exact website is in our show notes, and you can join our Seahorse Club where you can get exclusive offers and discounts and learn so much about our wonderful hotel here in Limassol, Cyprus. And also, if you'd like to email our reservations team and just quote Hotel Talk, they will be sure to give you an extra special price when you're booking your next trip with us. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Stay tuned. Listen up more, and feedback is always more than welcome. Thank you.